McDonald's, one of the world's most famous fast food chains. It's not the healthiest option, but its 24-hour service makes it incredibly convenient. However, even in such a familiar and lively place, strange and unexplainable things can happen. Things that linger in your mind no matter how hard you try to forget them. Something like that happened to me. A night so unnerving and terrifying that it still haunts me to this day. 3 years ago, when I was 17, I was in desperate need of a job to pay for my college tuition. After weeks of searching, I finally landed a position at McDonald's. To keep my boss happy, I had to accept any shift he assigned, whether it was day or night, long hours or short. For the first 3 months, I only worked during the day, grateful for the steady income. Then, one day, my boss called me in his office. He told me that since I had gained enough experience, I was now ready for the night shift. He assured me that night shifts were quiet and asked if I had any concerns. I didn't. A job was a job, and I needed the money. My first night shift was set for Saturday from midnight to 5 a.m. That night, I arrived at McDonald's at exactly 12 a.m. The manager handed me a long list of tasks: refilling condiment bottles, cleaning the floors, wiping down tables. After giving me my instructions, he left, leaving me alone in the store. At first, everything seemed normal. The restaurant was eerily quiet, but I was too busy working to pay much attention. Time slipped by quickly, and before I knew it, it was already 2 a.m. I hadn't seen a single customer all night, which struck me as odd, but I figured it was just a slow night. Then, something strange happened. As I was arranging coffee cups on the counter, an unsettling feeling crept over me, like I was being watched. I shook it off, convincing myself that it was just my imagination. It was my first time working so late, and my mind was probably playing tricks on me. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw something. A dark shape, standing outside the window. My heart skipped a beat. The figure was motionless, shrouded in darkness. I blinked, telling myself it was a trick of the light. Who would be standing outside of McDonald's at this hour? I tried to ignore it and continued cleaning the tables. But when I glanced back, the figure was closer. A cold shiver ran down my spine. The rational part of my mind insisted that it was just fatigue messing with my vision. Still, I forced myself to look away, focusing on my work. I wouldn't let my tired mind scare me. Then I heard it, a noise, low, guttural, and unnatural. I turned toward the window, and there it was, a demon, or something that looked like one. It had piercing red eyes, glowing like pools of molten blood. Its face was twisted, an unholy grin stretching across its inhuman features. And then, it started banging on the window. My blood ran cold. Each impact of its hands against the glass sent a jolt of terror through me. I was frozen in place, my breath caught in my throat. This couldn't be real. This had to be a nightmare. Then, as if my survival instincts finally kicked in, I snapped out of my paralysis. I lunged toward the front door, flipped the sign to closed, and bolted out of there. My hands trembled as I fumbled with my car keys. The moment I got inside, I locked the doors and sped off, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. I barely had the courage to call my manager. I told him I was feeling sick and had to leave early. He was understanding and told me to go home. I didn't dare tell him the truth. Who would believe me? I barely believed it myself. When I finally reached home, I felt a fleeting sense of safety. But that night, I made a decision I would never, ever work another night shift again, even if it meant finding a new job.